Many of the most inspiring stories in cinema aren't battles against orcs and dragons,
This is what revolution looks like, real revolution.
but involve real people who spend their lives challenging society's norms, life's injustices, and through it all, have to face some more intimate personal demons.
Mommy, please tell me what to do.
Here are the inspiring stories of 5 real people from films that dropped on Netflix in 2020. Stick around to see why we believe all of these people have made a significant mark on history.
Yeah.
I never could stand no silence. I always had to have some music going on in my head somewhere. It keeps things balanced. Music could do that, it fills things up. More music you have in the world, full it is.
Known as the Mother of the Blues, Ma Rainey was one of the first ever blues musicians to be recorded. Her lively, raw onstage energy, along with her grandiose personality, were powerful catalysts in cementing her as one of the most influential musicians of the early 20th century. In the new film adaptation of August Wilson's award-winning play Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Viola Davis brilliantly portrays how powerful of a figure Rainey was.
Wanna see that dance with all your big black bottom.
Ma Rainey was decades ahead of her time in every way. Even though this was a white man's world, she was unafraid to make demands and fully recognize her value, both as an artist and as a human being, in a time where most African Americans, especially black women, were still considered second or third-class citizens.
All they want is my voice. Well, I done learned that. And they're gonna treat me the way I want to be treated, no matter how much it hurt them.
Her presence is the heart of this powerful film.
He's a psychiatrist. I'm a camera person. I suggested we make a movie about him dying. He said yes.
Dick Johnson's daughter Kirsten understands as an artist that the best therapy for dealing with life suffering is to use your chosen medium to confront the most uncomfortable and sometimes the most painful issues.
I've always wanted to be in the movies.
Just a few years after losing his wife to Alzheimer's, Dick was forced to retire after he began to develop dementia. Kirsten's ambitious idea to document this process could have been a solemn affair, but Kirsten and Dick instead have chosen to stage Dick's fake death in various outlandish ways to make the journey a bit more interesting.
Is it cozy in there?
Nobody cares about comfort now.
You do.
Of course, they also must confront all of the true life discomforts that came with Dick's deterioration, but they still found a way to make his final few years beautiful and full of joy and glory.
A resurrection! My George!
Though death is not a subject to be taken lightly, Dick Johnson is Dead is perhaps the most beautiful and loving reflection one could ask for in a documentary of this kind.
The harassment, the lack of equity that has been provided for disabled individuals, and that now is even being discussed by the administration, is so intolerable that I can't quite put it into words.
The disability community is one that is still too often ignored and marginalized, even in today's society. But in regards to the advancements that have been made in the last few decades, Judith Heumann is an essential figure. Heumann's inspiration for bringing this community together all started with Camp Jened, a camp for children and teenagers with disabilities.
People were having fun. We were working together as a whole unit, washing and cleaning and showering and doing things that we've never done before. And it's really a very different kind of a thing.
Crip Camp follows the stories of many different inspiring figures from the disability community, but Judith Heumann is without a doubt the glue that holds the community together in their fight for human rights. Heumann is not just caring, she's eloquent, fierce, and uncompromising. It's her passion and diligence that have brought many of these issues that most people sadly ignore to the surface and forefront of public conversation. But Heumann's early ambitions were inspired by the sense of connectedness with others in the community she found at Camp Jened.
It made people feel like they were more a part of what was happening. It was more free and open than certainly what I was experiencing in my day-to-day life at home.
And even though this camp is sadly no longer around, its impact on the campers and the world as a whole is immeasurable.
Mr. Hoffman, are you familiar with contempt of court?
It's practically a religion for me, sir.
Aaron Sorkin's court drama follows the true story of several protesters of the Vietnam War who were charged with conspiracy and inciting a riot. There are a few different noteworthy people one can pick from this crowd, but it's ultimately Abbie Hoffman's charisma, rebellious devil-may-care attitude, and irreverent persona, brilliantly brought to life by Sacha Baron Cohen, that makes this story so unique and compelling. From the get-go, Hoffman isn't your typical protester.
Are you stoned? Yeah. You?
Though he has obvious conviction, he also possesses a powerful penchant for the theatrical, and he's not shy about causing a ruckus in public, even in a court of law.
What are you wearing?
It's an homage to you, Your Honor.
Do you have clothes underneath there?
Yes. Hold on. Yes.
Take off the robes, please. Silence!
Abbie Hoffman's dramatic personality was one of the strongest tools in bringing public attention to this very important trial, which would climax into a key element that publicly indicted the U.S. government's tragic mishandling of the Vietnam War.
In 1861, Lincoln said in his inaugural address, "When the people shall grow weary of their constitutional right to amend their government, they shall exert their revolutionary right to dismember and overthrow that government." And if Lincoln had given that speech in Lincoln Park last summer, he'd be put on trial with the rest of us.
Think about me doing hip hop.
Doing what to it?
I want to make a mixtape.
Last but certainly not least, Radha Blank has taken the world by storm this year with her debut award-winning film, The 40-Year-Old Version. She wrote, directed, and starred in this semi-autobiographical film. As a black female playwright and teacher about to turn 40, Radha reevaluates what she can do to make her mark on the artistic world. Rather than continue to accept the hand she's been dealt, Radha attempts to break out as a rapper. Her journey is met with both skepticism and support, and she has to straddle the line between compromising her art and sticking to her true self.
I still need a writer for my Harriet Tubman musical.
That's great. That's great.
As a character, Radha presents herself very much as an every woman, but the real-life Radha's talent as an actor, comedic writer, and visionary director shines through at every turn.
You just have to change your perspective. Tain't nothing wrong with my damn perspective. Excuse me? Don't take that tone with me.
It's quite easy to see how Radha Blank is an inspiration, since in this film we witness her talent both behind and in front of the camera, and also grasp a raw part of who she is as a human being during the process.
40-year-old version. That's who I be. I'm out.
These are but just a few inspiring and powerful true-life stories that launched on Netflix this year. Whose on-screen story has inspired you the most this year? Sound off in the comments.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the Netflix Film Club channel to get our latest exclusive videos. Plus, hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.